Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli and this is Vigorelli Institute, and today is, I'm going to be doing my usual October thing. I'm an October birthday and Halloween is here and I like to talk about the weird stuff every now and again. Yes, I do hunt ghosts, but before we get started, I'll draw your attention over here. These are my two novels that I have out. Where are we? There we are. Okay. Hidden Race is number 1. Stonecutter is number 2. This is a continuation of this, and I'm working on number 3 right now. Title to be figured soon. Anyway, you can pop over to my website, vimandvigorelli.com. Links there to Amazon, or you can just search my name on Amazon. Stuff pops right up. Go ahead and get yourself a book. I've got others up there. Maybe you want to learn a little bit about magic. Yes, sir. All right. So, go ahead and set those little guys right there. Okay. So, what I want to talk today about is weird things that happen. Okay? Sightings, animals, people that shouldn't be there. Okay? This is where we start moving into cryptids and aliens and stuff like that. Got a few schools of thought on this. I'm going to go through that. Okay? Now, the first bit is it's complete nonsense dreamt up by idiots that have no money, no life, and they're just sitting around and they have nothing better to do but run wild with their crazy imaginations. Another school is that it doesn't exist, and this is just stuff dreamt up by, writers that kind of want to do things, and they wrote it really well, so some idiot thinks it's a real thing. Okay? Now let's get into something a little bit else. What if they are real? Now, I do want to let you know that I'm not just some crazy person, that believes in the existence of Bigfoot and all that stuff. Okay? I am very much so a scientist at heart. Yes, I write fantasy, but it does take a bit of intelligence to be able to write something outlandish. You also have to know the rules to break the rules. Okay? So, I have studied physics. I know biology very well. In fact, I have several textbooks on the subject, and I've read them. I have taken many, many classes, both formal and informal, on both subjects. So, let's talk about this. Okay? Now, a cryptid is an animal that may or may not exist. It seems to be wild and outlandish compared to what is commonly found in nature. Okay, this is like a flying monkey. Okay? Or a very large ape-looking thing running around in the Rocky Mountains. Okay? Giant sauropods in Africa, etc. Okay? Well, here's what I'm thinking. Okay? Those things actually exist. They just don't exist here. What we're seeing is a momentary bleed over from another world, a parallel Earth, if you will. Okay? Or maybe even a different point in time. Okay? Kind of depends. See, I'm thinking with the giant sauropod thing and, Loch Ness and all of that. They're basically dinosaurs, right? Ancient reptiles, etc. Things that used to exist in that given area, but have long since gone extinct. I think what we're actually seeing when those things pop up and the settings and the sightings can be verified, that, no, dude, I'm not on something. I'm telling you the truth, and I'm not crazy. Okay, that what we are actually seeing in those instances are little blips in time. Okay? And I'll get into why I think so later. Okay? The other stuff, like, say, the story where the guy turns a corner during his nightly watch duties, and the wing of the building is got a big-ass hole in it, and there's a big freaking purple light outside, and these weird shambling people beyond the wall. They see him start walking towards him. He walks back in and turns around. The hole is gone. Everything's like it was, etc. Okay? The giant ape thing in North America that people call Bigfoot. Okay? Chupacabras, stuff like that. What I'm thinking those are variant timelines, where evolution went a given way because, I don't know, a few individuals made one or more babies, or that one whatever didn't get eaten that day, or maybe it did. Okay? And it skewed genetic variation because it happened to have that one gene that then got passed on, yada, yada, yada. Okay? Then we move into that guy from Tarek, or whatever it is. Okay? Granted, many people have said, yeah, that was debunked. Yeah, well, that one's kind of dying hard. This guy pointed to something near Andorra, and he even had papers on him and all of this. We do have documentation of him being there. A lot of people say, no, it's not real. Yet here we are. Okay? Then, let's go a little bit deeper. Okay? We also have people that inexplicably disappear and then reappear later with information from a completely different place. Like they walked out and all of a sudden, you know, they were in the forest, suddenly they're in a city. Okay? Written in a weird language. They're looking around, people ain't dressed right, stuff's weird. And then they turn around and all of a sudden, back where they were. Or they're walking down the same street, what have you, and so forth. See, what I'm thinking is they pass through a wormhole, okay? And any door opened can be passed through in either direction, okay? That's simple logic, okay? So what I'm thinking is that when we see these creatures and these people, and people see these things, okay, that they are actually seeing something that is real. It's just not from our world. It's a different timeline. Maybe even a slightly variant dimension. Now let me explain what a dimension is, okay? Alright, so first of all, you've got the omniverse, okay? This is physics, by the way. So the omniverse is everything that can conceivably exist. This is clowns made out of candy and us, okay? Etc., etc., etc. Basically, if you can dream it up, it exists in this omniverse, okay? Now within that are several multiverses, okay? Now a multiverse is a set of universes that are very similar in physics, behavior, histories, etc. Okay, and it kind of depends on how those link up as to what you could define as a given multiverse. Okay, I'm willing to bet there's some subsets there, but I'm not getting into it. Now, a universe is just a given bubble of reality which may have different layers to it. Okay, may or may not have a spirit world, may or may not have some kind of whatever, okay? See, we live in a universe, okay, that is bound by physical laws, and some of those laws are Newtonian, the rest are quantum, okay? Otherwise we wouldn't have quantum physics. Quantum physics, by the way, is the study of advanced probabilities acting on a physical level, and therefore history. Okay, that's why we get the whole chaos thing, yada, yada, yada. Okay, now, a given event in a universe has any number of outcomes. Okay, I could have not worn this shirt and still done this video. I would be wearing something different. It could be raining right now, but because of whatever reason, it isn't. Okay? Those are variances. Whether or not they mean anything, I don't know, we'll see. But enough incidental variances cause shifts in history. Yes, I know, we're moving into annoying multiverses, shush. Hollywood's been playing with them a lot, and it drives me crazy because they don't get it right, and it's dumb. Moving on. So, if the split happens far enough back in time, then entire biology can be skewed. Okay? But what if that's not exactly the issue? What if we're talking a different level of reality? That's a dimension. Okay? It's part of the exact same universe, but it's a different hidden quantum pocket. Okay? Meaning, and this is something that comes up in a fluid. Okay? Fluids are not exactly evenly distributed. Okay? They may look that way, but they're not. You're going to hit areas of higher versus lower concentration, be it of temperature or mass, for that matter. Okay? Not always will a given liquid heat evenly. That's why you have to stir it, okay, in order to mix stuff up. Now, additionally, with any form of randomization, you're going to get pockets of clusters, okay? Now, when that happens on the scale of a universe, we get galaxies, star systems, stars, planets, etc., okay? And then a bunch of empty nothing, okay? What if within that universe we get pockets of reality as well, where physics is just a little bit different? Not enough to make it a different universe per se. The history still holds, okay? Meaning they know about us, we kind of know about them, or vice versa, okay? Well, what if those walls break down, okay? Could we kind of sort of see into there? That's what I'm thinking cryptids are. And that's also why I'm thinking so many cultures, when it comes to spiritual entities, you know, be they demons, angels, holy figures, and whatnot, have very striking similarities and similarities of behavior. I mean, look at the Japanese Oni, okay? These things came up long before they met the Europeans with their, you know, horned devils and whatnot. The Oni have horns and fangs and wings, and they hold clubs, and they're mean with red skin and all of that. Sounds a lot like a demon to me. Okay? So I'm wondering if they are real. We just have different words for expressing the exact same thing. Okay? I mean, I call it a wolf, you might call it a lobo. It's the same thing. Okay? So, if those creatures can move into our world, what if we can move into theirs, into their timeline? I can only imagine the stories that are running around in those worlds about us humans. You imagine this? Okay? There's this guy, you know, he's basically a humanoid reptile. Okay? You know, one of the lizard people that we hear so much about. You know, he's just going about his day. He's off hunting, trying to catch himself a little mouse dinner, what have you. All of a sudden, he turns a corner and he sees this thing. It looks like a giant mouse, but its face is flat. It doesn't have any hair on it, and it's wearing this covering. Okay, it looks like it's got this bucket on its head, and it's holding this stick that's really weird shaped. It's like made out of metal or something, and he's wearing this covering. I'm not sure if it's hair or skin or leaves or whatever, but it's the same color as the plants. Didn't even see him. He looks at him, and out of instinct, hisses, like, stay away from me. Okay? Meanwhile, this thing looks back and it starts shaking, and it starts making this noise at him. Roar! And there's changes to it. Well, that thing looks mean. I got claws, I got fangs. I lunge at him, all of a sudden, disappears. Ain't that something? So he goes back to his little reptile family, or his clutch, or whatever it is, tells him this story. Wouldn't that be something? Huh? What if all of those things that people have seen are real? They're just not from here. They're from somewhere else. Now, let's get into why I think this is the case. Okay? And it goes to a really, really strange place not far from where I grew up. Okay? It's a region. In the center of it, or at least near the center, is a place called Skinwalker Ranch. There's a show on it on History, I believe it is, where people with money and science and whatnot are actually diagramming this place. Okay, there's other places around it. One of them is called Clearwater. That one's over the border in Colorado. Bunch of other places around Skinwalker that have some very, very similar weird stuff. Okay? And if you notice, the things that are happening there are increasing in frequency and in severity. Okay? So we're getting ever weirder things happening. We're getting stuff that's like, they send up the drones, and the drones should be completely automated and synchronized. They should be doing exactly as everything works, but they're half a minute out of sync. You tell it to do something, half a minute later it does it. Whereas its neighbor, literally 1 meter away, does it on command. The one that's a meter away crosses to where the other one was, and it's now half a minute behind again. It crosses back, and it's back to normal. That's called temporal variance. Okay? That should not happen. And the only way that you can do that with time is if there is increased gravity in that area. Because time is a function of gravity. That's a physics thing. Okay? So, they've also mapped out the distortions in atmosphere and on the ground in Skinwalker. I've looked at them. It looks a hell of a lot like a building. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking some point in the future, somebody builds something, okay? And they're testing something. I think it's like I think they make a lab there, and they start testing stuff for, I don't know, some kind of star drive or whatever, okay? And something goes haywire, and it goes boom. There's not only damage in space, but also in time. Maybe those cracks, because of whatever they're doing in time and space-time, actually start bleeding over into different timelines, and then into pocket dimensions. I mean, this thing could spread in cracks all over the planet. We have no idea. Okay? What if there's multiple incidences of this in several different areas? Okay? So, if that's the case, whenever you approach the area of an explosion, okay, the damage gets worse the closer you get to it in space. But what about in time and space time? So that means when they're constructing that lab, okay, things are going to go weird. They'll probably come up with some safeguards for it. Then, whatever it is they're testing does the thing. And it incites the change in time. Okay? And we start getting the weird stuff. Stuff around that time period is going to be nasty, okay? I have no idea what that's going to look like. But then as we progress past that in linear time, those time variances disappear until we're far enough away from the damage point that, what are you talking about, dude? But as we get closer, they're going to increase. I think that's what's causing it, okay? But, you know, I could be just an overactive imagination. Who knows? So, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe, comment. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Even if it's, you're just a crazy lunatic who needs money. No, you're not wrong. Okay? Links in the description. Again, books there at vimandvigorelli.com. You can search me on Amazon. Search my full name. I pop right up. Lots of stuff. Also, I've got merchandise on my website. You will find nowhere else. It's getting cold. Get you a hoodie. Get you a blankie. Get you a book. Curl up. Drink something nice. And you can also follow me on Twitter. I say intelligent things every so often. So, you take care. Bye-bye.